You believe you chose the life you're living. You believe your dreams were born within you, that your opinions are truly your own. But what if I told you that almost everything you call your identity was built long before you ever learned to think for yourself? My name is Friedrich Nietzsche. I spent my life observing a truth that very few people have the courage to face. Human beings fear many things: death, pain, failure. But there is one fear greater than all the others: the fear of being different. It is this fear that turns unique people into copies of one another, that makes entire crowds walk in the same direction, that convinces millions they are living, when in reality they are only obeying. From the moment you were born, someone else began writing the story of your life. They chose what you should believe, how you should behave, what you should admire, and what you should reject. As children, we call this education. As adults, we call it responsibility. But very often, what we praise as virtue is nothing more than obedience. You grow up believing you must study, build a career, buy a house, start a family, earn more, grow old believing you fulfilled your purpose. It all feels natural, because everyone around you is doing exactly the same thing. But let me ask you one question. When did anyone ever ask who you truly wanted to become? Not what your parents expected. Who are you? Most people never answer that question. We wear masks for so long that we forget there is a face beneath them. You learn to smile when you want to cry, to agree when you want to disagree, to hide your fears just to appear strong. Little by little, you stop living, and you begin performing. After years of playing that role, you start believing the character is who you really are. But it isn't. You simply became attached to the mask. That is why I wrote about the last man. He does not seek greatness. He does not want to create. He only wants comfort, security, entertainment, small pleasures. He works only to consume products, videos, opinions, distractions, and he believes the more he consumes, the more he lives. But the opposite is true. The more distracted he becomes, the less he notices his life slipping away. Today, nobody has to force you to obey. You do it willingly. You seek approval. You fear judgment. You fear thinking differently. You fear silence, because silence asks the most dangerous question of all. Am I living my own life, or the life others expect me to live? There is a reason the herd feels so comfortable. Inside the herd, no one has to think. No one has to choose. No one has to take responsibility. But no one is truly free, because freedom demands courage. The courage to fail, to disappoint others, to abandon certainty. When I declared that God is dead, I was not celebrating. I was describing a crisis. The old values were disappearing, but humanity never learned to create new ones. It simply replaced old gods with new idols. Once people feared divine judgment. Today they fear public opinion. The names have changed. The dependence remains the same. That is why I spoke of the Übermensch. Not a perfect man, not a superhero, but someone who creates his own values. Someone who accepts suffering as part of growth. Someone who no longer needs the world's approval to exist. This path is not easy. You will be criticized, misunderstood, called strange. But there is something far worse. Reaching the end of your life, only to realize you never had the courage to discover who you truly were. So I leave you with one challenge. For the next few days, pay attention to every decision you make, every opinion you defend, every desire that appears in your mind, and ask yourself one simple question. Did this truly come from me, or was it planted there by someone else? Perhaps that single question is enough to transform your entire life. Because true freedom does not begin when the world changes. It begins the moment you find the courage to stop living by other people's expectations and finally become who you really are. If this reflection awakens something inside you, subscribe to Mindverse, because sometimes one question is all it takes to change an entire life.